Good morning, and welcome to VMT News Morning Edition. My name is Daniel Flores.
And I'm Chloe Ornelas. We begin our news with a story on kidnapping. Here's VMT's Angel Calleja with more.
Monday morning, a girl told me that this particular person was distraught and all that. And I said, well, why? What happened? And I believe they didn't want to say, but then I got the girl over and I asked her what happened. She told me the situation, that somebody two men tried to put her in their car.
Every year, around 800,000 children get kidnapped worldwide by strangers. That's more than 2,000 a day. More children get left without supervision from their parents because their parents are either on their phones or talking to some other person. Once the kidnapper sees the parents distracted on something else rather than their children, they convince the children to go with them.
First reaction was like, wow, most people think that, it's never going to happen to us, and guess what? It happened to us. It happened really near us, to one of our cadets, and that's the way things happen. They're by themselves, especially a female, they're by themselves, and two men, either on drugs or something. Right. They're going to try to force you in a vehicle, and she's lucky that, she was able to push up man, and she ran home, and I'm glad for that.
If you ever see this happening to someone, go up to them with no fear and try to see what is wrong. Often, children are too scared to ask for help when under pressure, so it's up to us to act brave. Of the kids and teens who are truly abducted, most are taken by family members or an acquaintance. 25% of kids are taken by strangers. Most abducted female are in their teens, and they're taken by male kidnappers. Remember to always be aware of your surroundings, and it won't hurt to put your phone and headphones away for a moment.
Former actor Bill Cosby has been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for sexual assault. He had been sent to state prison for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant at his home 14 years ago. In 2004, Andrea told the police a year later, in 2005. But prosecutors declined to press charges, then settled the case in the civil court a year later. A decade later, dozens of women came forward to say Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted them. Cosby's spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt, had unleashed the media, judge, and prosecutors after the sentence, calling the prosecution the most racist and sexist trial in the history of the United States. He also said Cosby was doing well because he knows that these are lies, and even compared it to the sexual assault allegation against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. But now the women made a statement saying that they were happy that they got their justice and are thankful toward Andrea Constant for being strong and speaking up.
President Trump said Wednesday his preference would be for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to stay in his job, and he also may delay a meeting scheduled for Thursday with Rosenstein about his future with the Justice Department. Trump told reporters in New York City in response to a question from NPR's Ayesha Rasco that Rosenstein never said the things attributed to him in a New York Times report from last week, and that Rosenstein doesn't believe that Trump needs to be removed from power under the 25th Amendment. These details in Times report, by the way, Rosenstein denied, prompted him a visit to the White House on Monday with the expectation that he was going to be fired. But after a phone conversation with Trump in New York and meetings in person with White House officials in Washington, Rosenstein returned to Justice Department headquarters with his job and an appointment to return to the White House on Thursday.
Pet Gentle, a completely non-violent pet training device that operates on animals, is not harmful and very safe. What it does is that when you press a button, a noise comes out that only dogs can hear. And if that doesn't work, you can use a flashing light it emits. Pet Gentle emits a high-pitched tone specifically targeted for the dog's hearing range. Most humans can't even hear it. Use the ultrasonic function to deter your dog from unwanted behaviors like barking or jumping on the furniture. And it's 100% harmless to dogs and safe for humans.
A Republican state senator in Texas accused of sending sexually explicit messages and photos of his genitals to a University of Texas graduate student. The university is investigating allegations made against Senator Charles Schwertner and cannot be considered banning him from the school's Austin campus. The officials said that the student and Schwertner met at a campus event where she told him she was interested in working in the state legislature. The pair then exchanged messages on the networking site LinkedIn before texting each other on their cell phones. If the allegation is true, the university would consider banning Schwertner from campus. Stay tuned for your local news and more. We'll be right back.
That's right, Dinotex, your friendly little dinosaurs. You can play with friends. Play it anywhere, like playing outside or in a playground. Dinotex, a dino that keeps out of your boredom. Buy that at your local store for $7.85. Warning, small parts can choke a child. Make sure the child is watched under adult supervision while playing with Dinotex.
This right?
Right.
Welcome back for your news. They fucked it up. I think it's so good, actually. The footage you took for the national story.
Welcome back for your local news. On Thursday, September the 13th, the Washington Birthday Celebration Association, also known as the WBCA, had a ceremony where they unveiled this year's painting to represent the organization. This year was the first where they decided to have a contest open to the public where they were able to submit their work. 17-year-old Jennifer Ramos got her art place selected, making her the 2018-2019 WBCA ambassador. The unveiling took place at the Center for the Arts in downtown and had the president Jeffrey Puig and Ramos present speeches while guests enjoyed the music and food.
Here at VMT, we celebrated the 16th of September. Here, Corey Nelas and Hector Alcorta with the highlights.
On the 18th, VMT withheld a 16 de September presentation that took place in the auditorium presented by dance instructor Alicia McInnes. Followed by the dance performances that were performed, McInnes had explained the importance of the annual tradition of the holiday that is celebrated by those of the Hispanic and Mexican heritage.
Definitely the students should care about the event because 99% of the students that we have belongs to this particular heritage, Mexican-American heritage. It should be important because the most exposed we are in culture, we respecting beliefs and traditions of people. Definitely, it makes an impact on them, and I know they're gonna take this forever and ever.
With this, students have enjoyed the exposure that came with this wonderful performance and celebration of this heritage.
Some people do not know this type of culture, and I think it's very important.
From VMT Morning News, this is Chloe Ornelas.
We also honored those who endured the tragic events of 9/11. Here is Israel Valdez with more information.
On the sunny morning of September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists working in teams of 4 or 5 hijacked commercial jetliners and turned them toward targets chosen for destruction.
On September 11, 2018, the Vidal M. Trevino School of Communication and Fine Arts hosted an event to commemorate the 9/11 attacks on September 2001. Multiple police officers as well as veterans attended the event, which showed students how some first responders reacted to the attacks on that day.
To be here with other law enforcement officers, first responders, and veterans. Thank you so much for your service.
The message is thank you, first of all, for your calling. Thank you for your courage, because obviously it takes courage to volunteer into a profession that your life is more at risk than others. And as a mayor and council and government, we appreciate that calling.
On the week of September the 3rd to the 7th, Laredo ISD high schools had voter registration events. In these events, students were given the opportunity to register to vote in the coming November election. Various students had signed up with the help of volunteers and teachers that were present at the event. These events help ensure that any eligible students in high school are able to exercise their right to vote as soon as possible. Due to the events over the course of multiple years, various students have been registered to vote. With multiple students being registered, it will be interesting to see how the fresh voters will affect future elections. We'll be back with entertainment news and weather in a few.
I think I'm going through through another depressive episode.
This being the Generation Award, I'm gonna cut to the chase.
I've been to London. It's been amazing. I was working on...
Thank you for joining us. Let's start talking about entertainment news. The Walking Dead returns to screen next month, and the surprising part is Andrew Lincoln is returning to the show, but in hopes to direct in future episodes. "I'm going back," he said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. "I'm going back to shadow a director, and my intention is to direct next year." If Lincoln does step behind the camera to direct The Walking Dead, he will be the third actor from the franchise to do so. According to USA Today, Making a Murderer, a popular Netflix true crime documentary, is returning to make a second series in October 19. The show is about two men, Stephen Avery and his nephew Brandon Daisy, who were convicted in the 2005 murder of Teresa Halbach, a 25-year-old photographer. Stephen and Brandon were found guilty in 2007 with a connection to manslaughter. In part 2, we have chronicled the experience of the convicted in prison. Two men, each serving life sentences for crimes they maintain they did not commit. Executive producers, writers, and directors Laura Riccardi and Moria Demo said in a statement. The second series is about Avery's journey from being a DNA engineer and reformer to a convicted murderer. American comedian Bill Cosby has been accused of several sexual assaults back in mid-60s and September 25, 2018. Mr. Cosby has gotten out of court with handcuffs. What once used to call American Dad is now being labeled as sexual violent predator. Bill Cosby, the famous American comedian, has been found guilty of sexual assault and is now being sentenced to state for 3 to 10 years. Cosby's name will now appear in the sex offender registry that has been sent to neighbors, schools, and the victims. When the first few victims finally spoke out, the role many others had to came finally speak free from what Bill has taken from them. And to finish our segment today, a well-known pop star, Lady Gaga, brags about Bradley Cooper, an actor with beautiful singing voice, in an exclusive interview about the upcoming remake movie, A Star is Born. The film is the latest remake of the 1937 movie, a featured Cooper starring a musician whose relationship with up-and-coming singer Ali Gaga becomes strained with her career starts to overshadow his. Bradley is a visionary human being. He has such an eye for creating an atmosphere of liberation and talent. "I'm just extremely humble and grateful," said Lady Gaga. And that is all the news we have for this week. My name is Giselle Martinez.
This being the Generation Award, I'm gonna cut to the chase.
I've been to London. It's been amazing. I was working on...
So, what do you think?
Thank you.
For today's weather, we are expecting scattered thunderstorms with an 80% chance of rain, with a humidity level of 79% and wind speeds of up to 11 miles per hour. For tomorrow's weather, we may or may not have rain. There's a 50% chance that it'll rain, although we are expecting a humidity level of 73% with wind speeds of up to 9 miles per hour. For Saturday's weather, we are expecting another 50% chance of rain with humidity levels of 50% and wind speeds of up to 10 miles per hour. 80% of humidity. But yeah, this is your weatherman, Aaron Iseguirre. Have a good day.
Never again.
That is all for today. I'm Daniel Flores.
And I'm Chloe Ornelas. We hope you tune in next time for VMT News Morning Edition.